Okay, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, the 4th of April, and I'm Danny Wells, Area Manager with Arbonne International. I'm not Zoe Allen, like it says here, but I am using Zoe Allen's ID number because she is on her way to the airport to fly to Las Vegas. Woo! Most of the team are either going today, tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So quite a lot of us are going over to the Global Training Conference in Las Vegas for 2050, which is so exciting. So we're going to be tagging all of you guys in all the pictures because it's really exciting. And just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So some dates for the diary. We've got tomorrow morning, there's a blaze at Jelly Beans, 10 till 11 in Melton Mowbray. Then tomorrow evening in Stamford, there's a Discover Arbonne with Regional Vice President Fiona McCarthy, and that's at 7:30 tomorrow evening at the William Cecil Hotel in Stamford, if anyone wants to go along to that. On Wednesday at 11 till 12, Becca Maunders does her sparkle session at the Kitchen Room, which is like a blaze, but she doesn't like the word blaze, so she's changed it to a sparkle session. Thursday evening, we've got a blaze going on at the Harbour Hotel, 7 till 8:30, and quite a few of the girls are helping to host that. I think Lucy Flax, Leah, Baxter, Amanda, Jade. There's a few people that are helping host that. The same on Friday lunchtime. Friday at 12:30 till 2 at the Hobby Horse. There's a blaze there. Next Sunday night, this Zoom will be going on again, as it does every week, but it will be from Vegas by Suzanne Wells and Candy Smith. They'll be doing it. On Tuesday, there's a Bourne Blaze going on in Bourne by Jennifer Houghton and all the Bourne girls and guys. And region training for May isn't on a Monday game because the Monday's a bank holiday, so it's on Wednesday, the 6th of May. At 7 till 9 o'clock at John Fernley. And the next big event on the Saturday will be the Growth Accelerator Day on Sunday, May the 16th. That's the Growth Accelerator Day, 9 till 1 at John Fernley. That's all the housekeeping job. So we're really lucky tonight because we've got Leah Baxter, independent consultant, with us, doing her PowerPoint presentation and talk on chunking things down, because like we all know, sometimes having our own business, regardless as to whatever business it is, sometimes things can be quite overwhelming. So Leah's prepared a fantastic training for us about how we can break things down into bite-sized pieces so that we can accomplish more things and be more productive with our time. And then after Leah's done that presentation, we're going to hear District Manager Clare Collis do her story, her why. So it's going to be a great Zoom call tonight. So Leah, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks, Danny. Right, I just need to set my screen share. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There we go. Right, so as Danielle says, my name is Leah Baxter. I'm an independent consultant with Arbonne, and tonight I'm going to be presenting on that Jack Canfield Success Principles book. We have a Zoom call on a Wednesday, 8 o'clock every week, hosted by John Allen, where each week we go through one of the chapters, and sometimes some of us take those chapters and we present on them and feedback what we've learned from them. And this was mine this week. So it's Principle 8, and it's called Chunk It Down. And it's about breaking down our big goals into small sort of manageable pieces so that we can approach them and achieve them more successfully. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks, small manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. Okay, so this really resonates with me. And I found that I was actually doing this before I read this chapter. So it helps me to be more clear on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, because I'm quite a logical thinker. I really like lists. I know a lot of people like lists. Spend more time writing out to-do lists than anything else. But I find it impossible to keep track of everything I need to do in order to achieve an aim or goal without having a strategy or a plan. So this is important with all aspects of life, not just with network marketing or Arbonne. So it can be quite useful elsewhere as well. So sometimes our biggest life goals seem so overwhelming that even techniques to attach your emotions to them struggle to put to work, for me anyway. So we should all have our goals. That it sort of reminds us all the time that we need to have our goals written down and we need to be clear on what we want and how we're going to get there. So I want to be an MVP, as I'm sure most of us do. So a technique is to say that out loud. So I would say I will be a national vice president by my 35th birthday. But I found that just by saying it out loud, I was actually still struggling to believe in it and sort of drill it into my mind that would be the case. So Jack Canfield tells us to chunk it down. So now I will be a national vice president by my 35th birthday. I know this to be true because I will not quit. I will be a district manager, and that I'm sure of. And then I will be an area manager, followed by a regional vice president, and followed by a national vice president. And so by breaking it down, because I truly, genuinely believe that I will be a district manager, I know that I can do that. It helps me with my belief for the bigger goal, because if I just take it one step at a time, if I can reach district manager, like, okay, great, I've done that, right, what's next? Okay, next step would be area. And then, so you're working constantly towards the next step. And that means that in my head, I think, well, if I can do that, then I can do my big goal. I'm just going to take it one step at a time. So as I said, you should have your goals. This presentation is from Wednesday, so if it doesn't make complete sense, then that's why. But one of the examples she used was if we wanted to walk to Scotland, that seems like an enormous task, but it's not impossible. So if we were to walk 5 steps every day towards Scotland, eventually we'll get there. We can break it down into checkpoints on the way. So, by the time we leave the Midlands, and then we get to the north of England, and then we'll get to the Scottish border, and eventually we will reach Scotland, which, again, like I say, it seems like an impossible task, but one day at a time, we'll get there. Where there's a will, there's a way. So, with each smaller goal you hit, you'll be encouraged to keep going. As I said before, when I get to district manager, that'll be such a great achievement for me that it will spur me on to get to the next bit. So with each sort of mini achievement that you have, it encourages you to keep going. So this is why it's important to break down your big goals. Because breaking down a large goal into smaller tasks and accomplishing them one at a time is exactly how any big goal is achieved. Okay, so how do we do that? In the book, there are 3 main ways. So the first one is to ask the people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. So what did they do? What did Danny do? What did Zoe do? Take their advice on how to avoid pitfalls, because they've been through it and they've made the mistake. They know where you might fall down, and they've got this whole wealth of knowledge and experience that we can tap into and use. I personally find this quite hard. As I said, it's against my nature to ask for help. I'm quite stubborn, and I like to think that I can do it myself. I don't need help. But of course, everybody needs help. And I also worry that the person that I'm asking for help from might be too busy to help me. But I have been reassured that, we are all in this together. The support is there. Everybody will help if you ask for it. So ask your upline for help. The second way is to read books. So there are hundreds and hundreds of books written by people who have been successful. So not only just in network marketing, but in various industries and fields. And they have lived through a lot of similar situations that we're facing. So by reading those books, we can take in their insights. We can learn from what they did and how they overcame any problems or obstacles. Some brilliant ones that I love are Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Rohn, Brendan Burchard, the Flip-Flop CEOs, of course, they're with Arbonne, so perfect, as is Chris Dryling. John C. Maxwell was a great one. I've not heard of him. He was sort of popped up out of nowhere for me. And of course, Jack Canfield, which is all reading. But there's so many more, and it's not just books as well. You know, there's so much information on YouTube from various people in Arbonne, you know, in the UK, in America, Australia, wherever. So tap into that information and use it, because it's all there for us to absorb and take in. And number 3, which I think personally is the most difficult for me, and that is to start from the end and look backwards. So this engages your visualization skills, which we've been trying to work on, and you have to think about what it would look like once you've reached your big goal. Think about where you want to be, and then you need to go backwards step by step. And what was the last thing you did before that happened? And then before that, and then before that, and then before that. And that way, you can work out what it is you need to do step by step to get to your big goal. Ideally, as we've found in the past, it's best to have a balance. So you can have a combination of all 3 of those. So books are great, you know, learn so much from these books. But why not get some real life advice from your upline? After all, you know, we're in the same company, whereas, you know, we can get all these books and this information from people who are in network marketing, and that's brilliant, but they're not necessarily in Arbonne. So yeah, go to your upline and ask them for help and advice. And remember, it's okay not to know how to do something. So again, I need to remind myself of this. And it's okay to ask for guidance and advice from those who do know. So get into the habit of asking, can you tell me how to go about? What would I have to do? And how did you do or achieve whatever it is that you want to know? So keep researching, keep asking until you can create a realistic action plan that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. That's sort of the title of the book. So think about what you will need to do. So there are typical activities in this business that are sort of your bread and butter. So you've got your one-to-one speaking to people, product drop-offs, so basically getting in front of people, getting the product to people, and that's pretty much it. But if you're not doing those simple things, then you're not going to be achieving what you need to achieve. Think about what skills you need to learn and what you need to work on. And we particularly like Eric Worre, GoPro, and when we have Zoe's, the team's Growth Accelerator Day, we work through those, the 7 skills workbook. So that's brilliant. I really recommend you get to one of those sessions. And think about the details as well. So how many QVs will you need to get to the next level? And by working out all of these points, you can put together an action plan for how you're going to achieve each step. You also need to think about who you will enroll in your vision. So your upline help, who do you need to ask? Think about your direct. If you haven't got any direct yet, then think about who might be your direct. If you have got a team, think about the downline as a whole and how your direct might go about sponsoring people, and whether the people in your team need any training and how you can deliver that to them. What new disciplines and habits would you build into your life? So we try and stick to a certain structure each day. So we say reading 10 pages of a personal development book every day. Getting into the Zooms, you know, tapping into this wealth of information from all the people in the team. Getting to regional. I mean, regional training is fantastic because not only is it, you know, you're getting loads of information, but it's a great night out. Like, you get a great boost from it. It's really exciting. Great to get everyone together, and it just spurs you on. And then also sort of nooks and crannies of your day, listening to audios when you're in the car, when you're when you make a pond, when you're washing the dishes, you know, all of those sort of times in the day where you can be using that time to work on yourself. And it's all about balance. So try and incorporate all of these different activities into your sort of day-to-day life. As much as you can, being realistic. But Luke's activity tracker was absolutely brilliant. I've been using this ever since he gives us one off for us at Clare region training. It's fantastic, and it's just a really simple way to keep track of your activities to make sure you have a balanced sort of schedule. So we have a new tool, and it's called mind mapping. So I imagine most people have done mind mapping at some point. I remember I did it at school. But it's a little bit different in that when we were at school, it tended to just be for ideas. So you would come up with an idea, and then other ideas would come off of it. But with this, what we're actually looking to achieve is an action plan. So we all know that action is fundamental to reaching our goals. It's no good just having a good idea if you're not going to act on it. So mind mapping is a simple but powerful process for creating a detailed to-do list for achieving your goal. It lets you determine what information you'll need to gather, who you need to talk to, what small steps you'll need to take, how much money you need to earn or raise, or the QVs that you need to be on, and what deadlines you need to meet, and so on. So again, when we set our goals, we should have some sort of time scale. They should be measurable goals. So anybody at any point can come along and measure them to see whether you've achieved them or not. And again, it should have a date that you would like to achieve them by. Jack Canfield says that he uses mind mapping regularly, and he says that this helps him chunk down that very large goal into all the individual tasks that you need to complete that goal. So you should have your centre circle, and then in that you should write your big goal, or let's say not necessarily to reach MVP, but let's say for me to reach district manager. And so that will be in the middle, and then you start to draw lines with outside circles, dividing your goal into major categories of tasks. And then from the spokes, radiating from each mini circle, you need the steps and the actions that you need to take to bring that into fruition, if you like. So I've had a go at this. So as I say, in the middle, if I want to reach district manager, I've got district manager in the middle, and then radiating from that, I've got 4 sort of categories of tasks. So I've got sponsoring, preferred client, motivation and inspiration, and duplication. So just we'll take sponsoring, for example. Something that is key to that is talking to people. And again, that we can break down into individual tasks and actions. So I've got face-to-face, talking to people, personal development. So in order for me to talk to people, I need to work on myself. That involves reading books, listening to audios, and just getting on with it and doing it. We've talked about the fear of doing these certain jobs and activities multiple times. And really, the only way that you're going to be able to get over that fear is to just go out there and do it. And the more you do it, the less you'll have that fear, the more you'll get better, and you'll just start to get over it. So yeah, you just got to go and do it. Right, so from each of these actions that comes out of your mind map, you should be able to make a to-do list. So your next step will be to make a daily to-do list. So I have my monthly goals broken down into weekly tasks, and I have daily to-do lists in order to achieve these weekly tasks. So say I want to talk to 10 people in the week, that means that I need to speak to 2 people a day, that sort of thing. And again, commit to a completion date. That way you can check if you're staying on schedule in order to achieve those goals. Do first things first. Seems obvious, doesn't it? So the goal is to stay on schedule and complete the most important items first. So for me, the most important tasks are usually the ones I don't want to do, because they're the ones that bring out that fear in me. You know, I've probably not sort of gotten over it fully yet. I'm not all that confident when I'm talking in front of people, but I'm out there doing it, and I'm working on it, and I'm getting better. So often I will complete many other tasks first before in this job, and that's the exact opposite of what we should be doing, basically. So Brian Tracy has written a book called Eat That Frog: 21 Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. So I definitely need this book. And just from reading in Jack Campbell's book, actually, that it just made so much sense to me. So if you set 5 tasks that you must complete for the day, and then if you pick the one that you absolutely must do, in order to make the day a success, you have to pick one. I usually find that that's the one that you really do not want to do. It's the one you're afraid of. It's just the one you really don't want to do, and that becomes your biggest and ugliest and meanest and grossest frog. So that's the one you need to do first. First things first, eat that frog. That's what the title is. And by doing so, you are in essence making your day much, much easier, because the hard work is already done. It gives you a real sense of confidence, achievement, and just gives you that real boost, because you've already done the hard work, and then after that, your other 4 tasks seem like, walk in the park. They're easy. And then you can get on with your day. So as I said, my frog is probably speaking to people, messaging people. And as I say, if I do this first, it builds confidence and momentum, and I can go and get on with my day. And that will help you to move faster and faster towards your goals if you do that first. Next thing he suggests is to plan your day the night before. As he said, this is one of the most powerful tools that high achievers use, is to plan their day the night before. And there's 2 major reasons why this is such a powerful success strategy. First reason is your plan, to-do list, and visualizing the night before will be planted in your subconscious mind. Does anybody remember Matt Griffin talk about the subconscious mind and how you plant information there, and then it will turn into action? So your subconscious mind will then spend the night whilst you sleep working on making these actions come about. And the second reason is by planning your to-do list the night before, you can start your day running. You know exactly what you're going to do and in what order. So the time that you spend the day before, you might think, oh, I haven't got time, I'm tired, I'll just get off and I'll just get on with it in the morning. But if you just spend 10 minutes the night before planning your day, it will drastically save you time the following day, I promise you, really well. And stop procrastinating. So whilst you sleep, it will help you to think of creative solutions to any problems that you may encounter, or how to overcome any obstacles. So if you think about when you're trying to remember something, and you're trying really, really hard, you can't remember it, you can't think what it is, and you think, oh, I'll sleep on it. So when you stop trying to think of the answer, your subconscious mind will provide the answer for you, and this is supposed to work in the same way, I suppose. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up everything that I wanted to say. So I'd suggest everybody has to go out mind mapping. If you think about what it is you want to achieve in the next, say, I don't know, few months, 6 months to a year, whatever, put that as your main goal in the middle, and then think about how, what you need to do in order to achieve that goal, what actions you need to take. It's all about the action. So if you haven't got your goal, make sure that you've got your goal, you've written it down. It's so important to write your goals down. Also, practice eating that frog. So get into the habit of doing your most important task first, the one you really don't want to do. You've got to go and do it. So try and get into practice of doing that. In the back of this chapter, Jack Campbell refers to something called the Achievers Focusing System. So I think that's like an online tool that you can go and use to sort of try and balance your activity. So if anybody wants that information, I can send it to them. Or alternatively, I think it's a bit like Luke's activity tracker, which, as I say, I really love. And that's key for a balanced approach to achieving your goals. And that's it.
That was fantastic, Leah. That was brilliant. I can't believe it when you said that you're not very confident at doing stuff like this, because you wouldn't know. You just delivered that amazingly, and it was interesting. Everybody was captivated the whole time. It was fantastic. It was brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I'm just like waving my arms around.
It was so good. And I completely agree. When you say about going to ask people that are where you want to be, what did you do? Because when we all go to stuff like, you'll remember this year, when we went to Leadership Academy, like Jane and Nikki and me and you and like Jennifer, all of us were like going up to all the MVPs and saying to them, what's your biggest tip? What was your biggest tip that moved you from consultant to district manager? Or what's your biggest tip that moved your mindset to get you into region? Or, you know, just asking them, and people don't mind. And people ask me all the time, like, what are your biggest tips? And I tell them, people do not mind at all. So if you ever come across anyone that is in a place that you want to be at, ask them how they did it. People don't mind you asking, they will tell you. People love to talk about themselves, so ask them and they will tell. I think that was great. That was really good, Leah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we have the amazing Clare Collis doing her work. Clare is directly sponsored by me, and she is the most amazing girl. If you guys haven't met her, she is fantastic. She's actually Leah's sponsor, so she sponsors Leah and Jane into the network. She joined my business when I'd been going for a couple of months, and she started her business, she'll probably tell you this anyway, with 2 young daughters and a brand new baby. And she's worked this business with her brand new baby Zach. He'll be coming up to being 1 in the next year, and she's just remarkable. This girl is just a giver, and she's the most caring person. She makes me so proud. Every time she does anything, I'm like, oh, Clare, you're so amazing. So I'm so pleased that you guys get to hear her story, because she's got an amazing story, and she's a bit nervous. So everybody give her a massive round of applause. Not be able to hear, she's on mute.
Hello. I'm really, really nervous. I think Leah should just carry on talking.
No, we want to hear it.
Well done, Leah, by the way. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Right, I better start. Right, my why. My reason for joining Arbonne is mainly obviously to build residual income and to have real security for my kids and leave them a legacy. I wasn't fortunate enough to be born into mounds of cash, as most of us weren't. I was just born into a normal working class family, which is fine. My dad left to go to university in Norwich when I was about 8 years old, leaving my mum heartbroken and bringing up little kids all by herself on benefits. So we didn't have a lot, and I missed out on a lot of things like school trips and whatnot. My dad was still an amazing dad. He still came to see us as much as he possibly could. As I got older, I messed up my last couple of years of school. I didn't sit my GCSEs. I was arguing with my mum a lot. Not really. I was getting into a little bit of trouble. I wasn't really in a very good place. I called my dad up one day and asked if I could go and live with him. By now he was in Wiltshire, and he said, yeah, of course, and organised for me to get down there. Everything was fine. I got myself a job, and I was in a shop I really loved, and I started making new friends. Then a couple of months later, I discovered I'd moved down there with a little something growing inside me. It turned out I was nearly 3 months pregnant, which was totally unexpected at 17, and bit of an accident. Kids hadn't really been on my agenda, so I was shocked. I didn't tell my dad that I was pregnant, so I kept it to myself. I told a couple of people that I'd made friends with down there, and they were brilliant. They were really supportive, and they were there to talk to. So I organised to get myself back home so I could be with my mum. Obviously, we all need our mums at times like that. And after a bit of to-ing and fro-ing, I decided that this is it. I'm going to be a mum. I'm going to do it on my own. And this little life inside me, which is there obviously for a reason, I'll be the best mum I possibly can be to it. Eventually, I did tell my dad, and he was brilliant. He was really supportive and even took me shopping for a load of baby things. Then February 24th, 2005 came along, and this little red-headed baby came into my life. So, sorry, it's because I'm reading, I've lost where I am.
You're doing great, Claire.
Yeah, so I tried to be an amazing mum, the best I could possibly be. She came first above everything, and I always knew I couldn't let her life be difficult or a struggle. I never wanted her to miss out on school trips like I had to. I'd go without anything just so she could have whatever she needed. I went and studied with Learn Direct to gain maths and English qualifications. Although they weren't actual GCSEs, they were equivalent of GCSEs, so I kind of felt like I'd rectified that mistake I made. Ruby became such a character. I taught her to read and write before she started school, so she had a good, strong start. She's flying above in all subjects. She's really smart. I then got a job as a carer, which, to be fair, is rubbish pay. Very rewarding in the heartwarming kind of way, because you know you're making a difference to people's lives, but financially didn't really make much difference. Yeah, then I met my gorgeous other half, Aaron, when Ruby was 5. Nearly a year later, we decided to give Ruby a sibling, something I never thought would happen till I met Aaron. We were told it was unlikely to happen, but not impossible, and it took only a few short months till I was expecting our beautiful ray of light, Amber. I chose not to go back to work. Obviously, with nursery costs, there wouldn't have been much point anyway, but I didn't want somebody else bringing up my baby, just like I didn't with Ruby. I wanted to be there to enjoy the years that you can't ever get back. Yeah, then we went on to have our gorgeous little man Zach last summer, and that's our family complete. So now it's all about the future. We want to move and get married. We want to go on amazing holidays and adventures with the kids. We want them to have plenty of life experience, because that's what life is all about. Obviously, Aaron's working, which I'm very proud of. You know, he goes out and he earns a living to support us, but living off one wage isn't easy. Even if it's a decent wage, it's not easy, not when you've got debt as well. So we're in a bit of a struggle at the moment, but it could be worse. I was really missing earning my own money, because independence is something I've always been quite proud of. Obviously, I'm really happy that I get to be at home bringing up our babies, which I love doing, but financially it's very hard. We wouldn't be any better off if I went back to work, as childcare costs would make it pointless. I had been looking into work from home for quite a while, something I could do alongside being a stay-at-home mum. I didn't really find anything that would make any difference to us financially, or that I'd really enjoy. Then I saw on Facebook one day, Danny Wells, putting things on about this new job she had. I didn't really take much notice at first, till she put a status up basically saying that anybody could do this around anything. Being a stay-at-home mum, a job you've already got, anybody could do it. And obviously the income was a massive bonus. So I thought, right, okay. I sent her a message to see what it was all about. She dropped a book around for me to read, the 45-second presentation, which basically explained how the business worked. And I got it, but obviously I didn't know what Arbonne was at the time. I didn't know anything about it. I just remember thinking to myself, I hope it's not makeup. I hope it's not that Forever Living or anything else like that. So yes, I read it. Then the following week, organised to go around to Zoe's house so they could explain the business to me. So I jumped in a taxi with my 2 daughters and little Zach, who was only about 8 weeks old, I think, at the time. Waiting outside with Danny, outside Zoe's house, I saw a familiar face, and it was Jane jogging along. I didn't really know Jane very well. She used to always say hello to me on the school run because her daughter went to the same school as Ruby goes to. And she always said hello. She was always very friendly. It was really nice to see a familiar face, and she was actually coming to the meeting too, so I was quite relieved. After the meeting, my thoughts were, this sounds too good to be true. Surely it can't be that easy. Next thing, I went to a blaze, which I really enjoyed, and the ladies there were lovely and all clearly loved what they were doing. I went home with the feeling of, if I don't do this, I'll regret it. The way I saw it was, I've got 3 years till my youngest will be in preschool, and I'll be getting ready to go back to work. So that is enough time to see if it works. So I gave it a few days and decided I wanted to go for it, nothing to lose. A home business, being my own boss, having more of a social life, meeting new people and earning a wage. Couldn't be any better than that. So, and of course, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. I knew that, I understood that, and that was fine. Who wouldn't want financial freedom, however long it took? My main motivation is my family, my kids and Aaron. I want nothing more than for my kids to live a worry-free life filled with adventure, and to be able to tell Aaron one day, you don't have to work all these hours anymore. My family and our life and our future together is my why, and so that my kids never ever have to struggle financially ever. And that's it.
That's lovely. That was really nice, Claire. That was really nice. And me and Claire didn't really know each other that well. We knew each other through a mutual friend, Jenna Evans, who's in the team. And it's really made me see what kind of person Claire is since we've been working together. And she really is everything that you've just heard and just seen. That she's the sweetest, nicest, most caring, genuine person. And she would drop everything for anybody, even people that she doesn't even know. She's so nice. And that was a really nice wine. It was really nice of you to share that with us all, Claire. I'm really proud of you. How do you feel now? Still feel sick?
That was so nerve-wracking. I'm boiling hot. So my cheeks are pink.
You did amazing, and you're a district manager now. You've got an amazing team, and you're just going absolutely just flying in this business. You're doing so well. You really are.
Thank you.
Well done, Claire. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Right. So I think that's everything for this evening then. Thank you so much for Leah Baxter for that amazing training, and for Clare Collis for that fantastic why. And thank you everybody else for logging in. And we'll see some of you at Jelly Beans tomorrow, or Born on Tuesday, or at Becca's Blaze on Wednesday, or we'll see some of you when we see some of you. Otherwise, we'll see you when we get back from Vegas.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.